Classic Porsches attract a lot of attention, and there's no one type of person that wants attention more than an Instagram model. So why not do a shoot with both? When you're done watching this show, check out the photos at Katie Livingston or at derfascination on Instagram. Oh, who am I kidding? You're looking on your phone right now, aren't you? I love driving and BSing about classic Porsches. So how great would it be to take a killer road trip in an old 911 and visit a bunch of my best friends who love the same things? Oh, and while I'm on the trip, I thought I'd make a TV show about it. So let's drive the coolest cars on the best roads with the greatest people in America. I'm John Polnik, and you're coming with me on my Porsche Road Trip. Today on the road trip, Dwayne from Wik's Garage will tell me I'm going to lose money.
If you work on a Porsche, especially an air-cooled classic Porsche, you will break something that's expensive.
Mikey and I go to Cars und Cafe.
It was your stupid idea.
And Baby Yoda. All on this episode of Porsche Road Trip with me, John Polnik.
We love these cars. I ain't no collector. You drive them things and I might respect ya.
Today, the road trip brings me home to Las Vegas. Sure, you've been here and stayed at one of those mega casinos on the Strip, but my Vegas is a little different. You can usually find me in the downtown Las Vegas Arts District, or as us locals call it, the 18B. Our studio's right in the middle of it all, and every month we invite our hometown Porsche friends to a little gathering we call Cars und Cafe. Why do you think people like coming to Cars and Cafe as opposed to all the big parking lot shows?
Well, first off, I think people like coffee. I think that's a good draw, especially in the morning, to have something.
Every time there's some reason where we think no one's coming this week, there's no way, it's 110 degrees or it was a holiday or whatever, it just seems like they show up anyway, right?
They do.
It's not that heavy. Even with a broken arm, I can push a 914.
Should I let go of the brake? No, just kidding.
Dick. So there's a guy out there that's going, this community is cool, this scene is cool, I want to be a part of it, but what do you say to that person?
The car's fun, the car's great, but it's not really the car that creates the Porsche community. For me personally, I have made some of the best friends. I mean, our friendship is based around Porsche. It has just grown me as a person and groomed me to the person I am, pretty much because of this brand.
So I love to mod my 993 and consider myself a bit of an expert on the subject. But when I find myself needing answers, there's only one guy I call. That's my good friend, Dustin Dapkus. A guy who's forgotten more about fixing and modding classic Porsches than I'll ever... You get the idea.
My name is Dustin Dapkus. I drive a 1995 993 RS Tribute. So started out when I was very young. I've always had an affliction with cars, Matchbox cars, Hot Wheels cars, Legos. This is our generation. This is what we grew up with. And I had to take everything apart. I couldn't leave anything well enough alone. And when you have the ability to fix things, when something breaks, you try to improve on them. So I've always kind of had that mindset with everything, going back to my bicycles and skateboards and my first car, which I blew up 3 times and rebuilt, and that evolved as well. So I've never really left well enough alone. And my end goal, knowing that we would never have an RS over here, I would never be able to afford an RS nowadays, would be to build something close to a Cup car or an RS Club Sport that I could drive on the street. So the car was a bit of a project. It had a damaged engine. It was a car that I would say had all the options that I probably would have ordered. It was a paint to sample car. It was a Carrera 4, which was useful back in Chicago. Used to roll around with snow tires on it and actually drive the car year round. It was my daily driver. I still drive it daily. And I was able to buy the car and have the skill set because of my trade to fix the car and make it what it should have been. The car slowly evolved from there. In my day job, I work with super high-tech cars all the time, and they've lost touch with the driving experience. I want something pure. I want to make the car as simplistic as it can. I'm in the middle of going one step further with weight reduction right now, and I'm working on roll-up windows, manual locks, manual mirrors. You're not going to save much weight, I know that, but I like the analog feel of those things. You know, my wife, she was driving with a couple of younger, millennial age girls, not to judge, and she kind of did one of these, like, hey, roll down your window. And the girl was like, what? Never seen a roll down window. I would definitely say that, I have a hard time not turning around and looking at the car every now and then. I'm proud of the fact that it's not something I bought, that I built, that I've earned, It's, I would call that an affliction with something. I think it's time to enjoy the car. I've tinkered with it enough. I've taken everything apart. It's time to enjoy the car with my family. So that's got to be next.
Hey guys, I gotta tell you about our friends Godden Porsche of Las Vegas and Godden Classic. If you're looking for a new Porsche or a classic, you gotta call our friend Steve at Godden, this guy. Save yourself the hassle of screwing around with all the auctions like we always talk about and just talk to Steve. He'll find you the classic Porsche you're looking for. Godden Porsche of Las Vegas. My buddy Dwayne Wick came by the studio with his 75 911 hot rod that he built all on his own. He's a YouTuber who loves to help people DIY on all kinds of air-cooled Porsche projects.
In order to not be disappointed with someone else's work in my car, it's up to me. I think of these cars as being my own personal art project.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun and it's a creative outlet for me. I enjoy teaching and I'm very passionate about Porsche and cars, and that all kind of came together with the YouTube channel. I'm able to, kind of tap into all my passions.
You haven't been doing this your whole life.
Right.
How long have you had a 911?
Right, not that long. 2015, my dad called me, said, hey, my neighbor's got this, he thought it was a 74, and it turned out to be a 75, but it started with that car. I grew up with a gearhead as a dad. I mean, he was always had 4 or 5 car projects going. What I didn't realize was that I picked up so many things from my dad just hanging out with him in the garage, and all those things come back to you.
That's what I like about what you do, is that I think you take some of the mystery out of messing with Porsches, because I think a lot of people have the idea that these things are magical space machines that only wizards are allowed to touch, and you have to be a guru.
If you work on a Porsche, especially an air-cooled classic Porsche, you will break something that's expensive. Go ahead, get that out of your system.
I'm definitely the guy that makes things worse when I try to fix things. I always have all this anxiety when I start something, but by the time it's over, I'm like going, well, that wasn't that hard. It was just...
Absolutely, it's that first step too, is walking out into the garage and saying, I don't know how to do this project yet, but I can start, I can research it online, find out what other pitfalls people have fallen into, and just take that first step.
I think YouTube channels like yours have really made that possible.
Yeah, when you can see it done, and then you can also see someone like me making mistakes, that takes a lot of the fear out.
If you're a petrol head in Las Vegas, it's no doubt you know my friend Salomon and his lovely wife Jackie. Salomon is the pope of all things car show in Las Vegas. But as you're about to find out, he's certainly not the one running the show.
Hi, I'm Salomon Braun.
And I'm Jackie Braun.
We actually drive a 1984 911 Carrera. We found the vintage auto tours that we couldn't participate in because we had modern Porsches. We were in the Mercedes Club, and we had a 2006 E-Class diesel.
Yeah, a grandpa car. I hated it with passion. He
What do you mean?
loved this thing. It was heavy, ugly. I felt like a grandma in this thing.
Yeah, we actually
buying
went
a
on
Porsche.
on a tour with the Porsche Club. 2 weeks later, we sold her BMW.
Of course, not a grandpa car. It's okay, the trade-off is perfect, but why my car? It's always my car, but it's okay.
And so in talking with Gary at Carl's place, he actually said, look, my car's actually for sale. So we
Wasn't.
actually, bought it. It was black. We took it on a couple
We
of...
didn't bought it. He called me and he said, I found the perfect car. It's wonderful. I said, really? How much? Oh, it's
Only
so little. Only.
$17,000.
And I said, only? Oh, wow. We are millionaires, I guess. Where are you going to get the money from? Well, we're going to sell your car. Oh, perfect. Let's sell my car for your car now. So that's how we acquired that
Got the
car.
But the interior was ripped. It was embarrassing. It's a Porsche. And Porsche, they should be beautiful.
Well, it should be beautiful for my husband. See, my husband wants the cars to be perfect. And I said, honey, it's a driving car. It cannot be perfect. Oh no, he couldn't sleep well. He couldn't even eat well. So, long story short, he said, let's restore it. And I said, really?
What actually happened,
Yeah.
we named her Helga. Isn't that a perfect name for a German?
I hated
car?
Helga. It's like an ugly name.
Exactly. The car was ugly at the time.
But she wasn't that ugly. She was perfect. She was just a driving, fantastic machine.
It was only going to be $1,000 to do the 2 front seats. So we agreed that wasn't that much money. We would just get...
Absolutely not. But he doesn't like the 2 front seats. When he saw the beautiful 2 seats, then it's no. We have to do the whole thing.
German leather wear fit, German vinyl wear fit, vinyl cows. I've never actually seen any of those, but they
Top.
Yes.
You're so funny.
So then
my God.
we decided to paint the whole exterior.
He did everything in the car. It took us a year. Let's
9
just
months.
cut the story.
Only in 9 months.
Okay, only 9 months.
A few years earlier, I had seen a Mexico blue modern Porsche and just absolutely loved the color. To me, that was the only color it was going to have.
So he brought it to my attention and I told him, I don't like it. Okay, so it's your project. Fine. And then he said, no, wait until you see it. And I'm like, I'm gonna trust you, but I don't like the color. Oh my gosh, I fell in love, which now I really give it to you. You did very well. You did
It
very
didn't
well.
actually start that way at the beginning. What actually happened was,
There we go.
A lot of people assume that I'm only interested in old Porsches. Well, as it turns out, I'm into a lot of old cars. Today I'll take a couple-hour road trip down to my dad's house in northern Arizona, so I can tell you a story about my favorite car. One that I'll never restore and never sell. It's not a classic Porsche, and really, it's not even a classic car. I bought the truck for my dad about 20 years ago for him to have on his property up in the Pacific Northwest. Looking at it right now, you might think that we pretty much let it go, but really it looked like that when we bought it 20 years ago. I mean, it already had 130,000 miles on it. It had been well used. It wasn't a new truck by any means, but it kind of suited the purpose. It's the classic 1989 Toyota pickup truck with a 22 RE motor, and it's a 4x4. So, I mean, that's exactly what we needed. It needed to be rugged, it needed to be reliable, and that's exactly what it was. Fast forward a decade, and the old man moves out to the desert Southwest in Kingman, Arizona. It's like an hour and a half out of Vegas. Add another decade, and I moved down here to the same place, and I'm visiting my dad, and I see the truck, and I'm like, does that thing even run? When was the last time it run? And he just looks at me like, I think so. It hadn't been running at least a year and a half at that point. The truck had really only been used for the occasional dump run, maybe getting firewood, that sort of thing. It had been sitting out in the desert. Paint was fading even more. I don't know, he gave me the keys, I got in the thing, and it started up immediately like it was a daily driver. I mean, it didn't miss a beat. Boom, started up like a Toyota pickup truck. After it started running, I was like, well, Dad, can I borrow that truck? And he was like, yeah. I haven't given it back yet. It's pretty much my daily driver now. It's my go-to truck. You know, she's not particularly fast. She doesn't have a whole lot of power. Creature comforts consist of power steering, cup holders, which my 911 doesn't have, heat. That's it, but that's all it really needs. The roads in northern Arizona are just straight. They're not really well suited for my other car. So, you know, but there are thousands upon thousands of miles of off-road and dirt trails to explore. So it's a mecca for off-road. Most of the guys down here have brodozers and kitted out Jeeps, but you know, my Yoda has 31-inch tires, and other than that, it's bone stock. The guys in the Wallapai 4x4 club let me join their club, I think begrudgingly. You know, they have some serious hardware in that club, and I'm not going to even pretend that my little Yoda is even close to what these guys are running. I mean, but I think with a little effort on my part, I don't think I'm holding them back too badly. They're a great bunch of guys, and the little Yoda is a goat. It goes almost anywhere they will. Not everywhere, but almost. You know, the funny thing is every time I go to fill up the tank, someone approaches me and asks if they can buy the truck. And it's not like people are offering me big, huge money. It's not like it's appreciating like the old air-cooled 911s or anything like that. But there's something about this truck that people recognize and want, which is just an incredibly reliable, fun to drive, minimalist pickup truck. They just don't make things like this anymore. I had a guy last night pull up next to me in his, what I'm pretty sure was a 6-cylinder Mustang, a new one. Maybe it's a rental car, I don't know, but he looks over at me in my truck and he's like, "You want to race?" And it's just, sure, why not? So we raced across the intersection, and he blew my doors off, which is just hilarious. I just can't believe someone would want to race a 1989 Toyota pickup truck, but that happened. I mean, I think he thought that I was jealous of his car or something. And I was like, oh, I wish I was that guy. When we moved down here, I was thinking of finding an old Series 2 Land Rover, you know, something really cool. But my dad hasn't asked for his truck back yet, so I'm just gonna save the money for Porsche parts, I guess. It kind of sounds like a cliche or a country song, but I love my dad's old truck. That's it. That's the line I wanted to throw in there. I don't like country music, for the record, but I do love my dad's truck. I'm still married. I haven't lost my dog.
When you spend weeks on the road by yourself driving a classic Porsche across the country, your mind can wander. That's why we call this part of the show Road Trip Ramblings.
My dad wasn't really into Porsches. Wasn't really into cars. He grew up building old Corvettes and drag racing, but by the time I was born, we had old Chevys and Datsuns and don't know what happened to that spark. Maybe it was there, maybe it was passed on to me, and only one of us can have it at a time. But not long after I started this road trip, I had to stop and take a break in order to visit my father's home in Arizona. A cancer survivor for over 12 years, it turns out that he would need emergency surgery. When I wrote this monologue, he was still with us. But a few days ago, I got a call letting me know that now he's not. This show has been about a road trip. And it's a road trip where I spend time with my friends and the people I love. I'm never gonna see my father again. Spend time with the people you love. You may not get a chance to tomorrow.